want you to think about that for a second. We're going? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to call the August 25th meeting of the City of Mount Pearl to order. And we have a full house of councilors, which, despite summer, that's looking pretty good. Who are we missing on the other side? We're missing Mona. I think that's it. Everybody else is here. So let's adjourn. We don't have Mona. First thing we're going to do, you have the agenda before you. I'll accept a motion to accept the agenda as presented. It is moved by Councillor Walsh. It is going to be seconded by Councillor Aker. Are there any additions to the agenda as you see it presented before you? Other than, I understand, this is a Planning and Development Committee report. This is actually a language change, right? It's an amended document, but it still exists inside Dropbox. Okay, so that's added. Are there any other additions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. First item then on that agenda would be the minutes and action report of our public meeting of August 11th. And I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented, moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Tessier. Are there any errors or omissions? Errors or omissions from the meeting of August 11th? Going once, going twice, hearing none. I will call for the minutes to be accepted as presented. All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Any business arising then from the Public Council meeting of August 11th, please refer by any item by the agenda number. Deputy Mayor.
Item 505, Your Worship.
505.
This
Got
is
it?
the non-compliance with our city requirements.
Yep.
Just wondering if we have an update on that.
Can we get an update on the non-compliance with city regulations regarding reefer repair? Who am I looking to do that?
Your Worship. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, the situation right now is they are actually doing work on the site. They have, and when we advised them that we were going to tender, they got back to us, said there was no need to do that they would actually proceed to do the work, and they began to do the work, and I believe the work should be finished within the next week to 10 days.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Any more or other business arising? Other business arising from the minutes of August 11th? Hearing none, we'll move along. Council, you will notice that we have a guest here in the chambers with us today. And this is our President of Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador, Mayor Church Rogers. And Mr. President, Your Worship the Mayor, you've got more titles on man than the Pope. Good to see you and welcome. What we're going to do here today is Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador are going to make a presentation to us. I'm going to invite Church, if you would, to come up here with that, Church. I'm going to give you this microphone, which is a handheld mic, but you've handled those before. And I'm going to get you to talk a little bit about, well, exactly what you're doing here, Mr. President.
Exactly. Well, Mr.
And get in real close. Because you're on a camera up here somewhere, out there.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today to do a presentation to you and your council and to your fair city. I know the city of Mount Pearl is celebrating 60 years, of course, of incorporation. Of course, it's grown and prospered and much larger than it was in 1955 when Hayward Burridge was your first mayor and council took over. I think they were listing 2,000 souls living in this municipality, and today, of course, we see 25,000, and a bustling city is doing very well, and the residents of Mount Pearl have a lot to be proud of. So what I want to do today is offer congratulations to you, the current mayor, of course, current council, and the residents of Mount Pearl. And we have a plaque or a certificate that municipalities in Newfoundland and Labrador we'd like to present to towns that celebrate milestones like 50 or 60 or 70 years and so on. This certificate is in recognition of the 60th anniversary of the city of Mount Pearl, and I want to present that to you, Mayor Sims, on behalf of mayors and councillors across the province, the association we call Municipalities Newfoundland and Labrador. So if you would, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I'd gladly present that to you.
Let's do this out here. Can we get council to jump into this picture with me?
I think so.
I'd like all of you to be a part of this one.
Has council ever turned down an
Will we ever?
We would never.
This one gets weighted out, right? This one gets weighted out. This one gets weighted. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sharon. And with that, I'll allow you to get back to your regular business. There you go. You want to stay? You want to stay?
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because we can be really boring.
I'll see you in the morning.
You will. Mr. President, please pass on to the board our compliments, our appreciation, and our thanks. It is wonderful. Mount Pearl is the youngest and coolest city in the nation, we maintain, yet it's one of our elder statesmen when it comes to municipal government. And as you pointed out, we are very proud of our 60-year history. We have grown to be a pretty modern, dynamic community, but still with, as we say in our little slogan, still with a very small town attitude, a strong sense of home. We're proud you could come and share a little while in our home with us today, sir. Thank you for this. We are honored. Thank you very much. Guys, isn't that wonderful? We shall hang this with great pride here at City Hall.
I wonder what is the oldest municipality in the province?
City of St. John's, isn't it? I think as an incorporated, not the oldest. Yeah, not necessarily the oldest community, but I do. Yeah, Cupid's would be the oldest community. The oldest established community would be Cupid's back in 1610, John Guy. But the actually oldest municipal government that we have, a local government, I do believe is the City of St. John's itself. And they celebrated 100 years not that long ago, like a few years ago, wasn't it? Anyway, I don't know. We'll find out for you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor. We'll find out. Moving right along, then, that's the only presentations. Correspondence today we have none. We'll go to committee work, committee services, community services committee. Deputy Mayor.
Speaking of things that we can be proud of, the first item here has to do with the Summit Centre. And just a notice to the residents, Your Worship, that our swimming pool, the new aquatic centre at the Summit Centre, is due for regular maintenance. So the pool portion of the Summit Centre will be closed from September the 5th until September the 20th. And just to note that the fall aquatics program then will start again on the 21st. But to note as well that all programs in the fitness centre as well as the Reed Centre, they will continue to operate. So this is the annual cleaning, and Councillor Aker has a question or a comment.
Would you mind if I ask a question? I was asked by a resident the other day, well, how come a building that's not even a year old? Now, I know it's been under construction and occupied for about 3 years now, but what is involved with the maintenance? I just want to articulate back, if I could hear it from, say, one of the directors, what exactly the pool maintenance involves. And I said, it's got nothing to do with the age of the building. I think it's something you got to do every year to ensure the systems continue to operate.
I believe you're correct on that, but we'll turn to Director Collins.
It's preventative maintenance. It could be anything from looking at the skimmers, sensors, give the steel a proper cleaning and waxing when it comes to the pool deck, things that you typically can't do when the pool
Do you
is in
actually take the
operation.
water out of the pool for this?
Yes.
Oh, is that right?
We'll do some. We'll get down a little bit, and exactly.
And this is going to happen every year. And will it happen it's like a September initiative every year?
It may vary different times of the year when it comes to the operations, but we thought at this time, especially with construction and with dust and everything
So
else,
we're doing
now
a
is
little
good
early.
time to do it.
We're doing a little early. Okay.
Correct. So we usually
Okay,
try
sorry?
and find that gap to do it.
Normally, Councillor Stoyle says normally it's December. Is that correct?
With the old pool, it was in December, but we thought this time, especially like I said, with construction and dust and things like that we didn't want to operate it too long without actually going.
So it'll
in
go September to
looking at the
September
system.
sort of routine.
I'm
Okay.
just wondering.
Thank you. Sorry, Councillor
I'm
Stoyles
just
again.
wondering about the staff now being off for this period of time, because the lifeguards and all that would be off for the week now, I guess. Is that the case, or are they going to be doing some of the work? I'm just curious. They're part of cleaning. And
So they're not laid off or
They're not
anything
laid
like
off for the week or 10 days.
Okay.
They may not get as many hours, but we still have permanent and permanent part-time. So we might be some reduced hours at that time of the year. A lot of the lifeguards go back to school as well. So actually the timing works out.
The timing works out good.
If you don't
Great.
do this work, we may have to shut down at some time.
Well, you do.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, that's our first item. The second one, Your Worship, has to do with the Community Services Activity Guides. Council will remember that last year in keeping with our strategic plan to filter initiatives through a green lens. Residents are reminded that the city has discontinued the delivery of our community services department activity guides to the households. All the fall program information will begin to be posted at the city's website in late August, and fall programming information will also be available at the Summit Centre. So again, online, it's not that we're getting rid of all the print material, but at the Summit Centre there will be individual pamphlets for the variety of programs there. So residents can still go and avail of that and pick through, if it's Zumba or something in the fitness center or the aquatics program. As well, they can get online, and if they want to peruse all the activities, they're also on the website. So we're just going digitally and still trying to provide some printed material for residents. And again, that can be found at the Summit Center.
Would we make a note, and it's only a thought, and maybe we already have, Director Collins, can we make a note that what you just announced also goes into our Mount Pearl Matters advertising as well?
Yep.
Okay, so that,
It's done.
and promote the website again.
Right.
It did? I didn't see it last week. I look at the ad every week, but I didn't see it, but that's all.
Okay.
Okay, perfect, good.
I just-
Councillor Stoyles?
I just had a question. I know I brought it up last time that this came up, and my concern is a lot of, especially seniors who don't have computers and stuff like that. And I'm just wondering, I know last year when we talked about this and not creating some of the and I understand, the green part of it and all that, but I'm just wondering if we should be conscious and do some for our seniors' homes and for Masonic Park and areas like that. We don't have to do the whole city, but I certainly would like for us to see, so they won't have to be going to the Reed Centre to pick up a copy or whatever. I would like for us to continue doing it. We have over 300 seniors in our program down at our Seniors Independence program, and if we done up a couple of thousand for them and done Masonic Park, give them out to our seniors at the Seniors Independence, I think it certainly would be good. That'd be my recommendation anyway.
Yeah, we could certainly arrange to get the pamphlets to that. Director Collins?
I think what we're looking at here, though, is the actual layout, design, publication of a booklet. That's kind of gone.
Correct.
Being able to supply someone with a hard copy of the schedule, that can certainly be done, I would think.
Correct. And pamphlets geared towards seniors, things like that, we can certainly make an attempt and make an effort to get that out. When it comes to a lot of the costs associated with the full guide is the design of it.
Yeah,
Whether
we don't need to do
If you print
that.
off 300, for instance.
Yeah, I
there's a
agree that we don't
major
need to
cost
do that, but the Councillor Stoyles' point, I think it's a valid
pamphlets.
one.
Absolutely.
We still have people in our community not engaged in what I'll call it the virtual world. Let's provide them with at least, a hard copy of here's the stuff that's available, and we can have a few of those at City Hall and a few of them at the Summit where they could pick it up.
And that's the plan, and we can certainly arrange to have it through the Seniors Independence Group, and our seniors
Well,
do
actually,
meet at
that
the
would
Reed
be
Centre.
that's an excellent outlet for it, and she'll have it out. She'll hand it out.
Yep.
Perfect.
So we can certainly do that.
Great idea,
That's-
Councillor
that's-
Stiles.
That's not an
Thank
issue
you.
at all. Okay, so the next item, Your Worship, is the Fall Aquatic Programs registration, as well as registration for our general programs. The aquatic program registration now will take place online only this year, beginning 5 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday, September the 8th. And this online registration is going to be open to Mount Pearl residents only. And then on Thursday, the 10th of September, again at 5 o'clock in the evening, it will be open up for non-residents. So that's for the aquatics program. In terms of general program registration at both the Summit Centre, the Reed Centre, and the Kenmount Park Community Centre, they're going to start at 6:30 a.m. on Monday, August 31st, and again, they will be online only.
Okay, stop you again now for a second.
Yep.
Is this our first time doing online only?
This was a budget thing too, don't forget.
We did it last fall.
I'm not 100% sure. That's why I'm asking. Did we just do online only at our last iteration of registrations?
This would be the first time when it comes to the aquatic programs.
Right.
The regular programs have gone online in the past year or so.
You haven't there's no physical lineups anymore.
Correct.
Okay,
Aquatics has been. This would be the first year.
This
for all
is our
programs.
first effort with aquatics being online only.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, we'll watch it closely, I have no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, we did a
Okay.
hybrid last year where it was line up and online, yes.
Right. And people
then we-
tended to get in online before people that lined up.
Remember that actually caused a problem.
Correct? Right?
That caused a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at
Right.
here, is I'm not sure.
So we're encouraging people to go online.
Right.
Online's the way to go, just saying. I agree. Not just from the point of view, it's a little more efficient, but also from the point of view, if you go physically, and you had that option, Sarah, the online registration would happen so quick.
Right.
It's like buying tickets to a concert, they'd be gone by the time you got to the wing.
Right. So we're going to try it this year, and certainly we will monitor it. Program flyers are also available at the Summit Centre, as well as on our website by August the 28th. And of course, if they have any questions about this online registration, they can certainly call our Summit Centre customer service desk at 748-1002 or email info@mountpearl.ca. Continuing with our fall registration, Your Worship, our fourth item has to do with the Seniors Independence Group, the 50-plus program registration. And that's going to take place beginning 6:30 a.m. on Tuesday, September the 8th for Mount Pearl residents. And of course, we'll open up for our non-residents again on Thursday, the 10th of September at 6:30 in the morning. This will have an in-person registration at the Summit Centre, but also they can register online as well, because some of our members were concerned that they were out of province and they might miss this, so they can certainly pre-register if they're going to be out of town, and then they can get online and do the online registration for that one.
Very good.
And the last item for our committee, Your Worship, has to do with the Arena Board of Management final installment, the operating grant for 2015. Our committee is recommending approval to release the final installment in the amount of $44,107.09, and I so move.
It is moved and seconded by Councillor Stoyles. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. We're moving on to the Corporate Services Committee. Councillor Aker.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a couple of items. The first item here is from municipalities, Newfoundland and Labrador. Of course, President Churns was here a few minutes ago to honor our 60th anniversary. 3 items to note. The annual convention is this year being held in Gander, as it tends to cycle through every third year to that fine community. November 5th to 7th in Gander, and I'd encourage my colleagues, directors, and anybody else from the public who are interested in learning more about municipal government and best practices to go to this convention.
How many of our crew are going to be able to go this year?
I think most of us. Yeah.
So most are going to try and get there.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Resolutions deadline, and this is important for Council's consideration now in the next couple of weeks. The resolutions deadline is September 14th, and it's a chance for the city to contribute to some of the debate that's happening at the municipal and other government levels within the province. And this year, standing for election are 4 positions, and they're for a 2-year term: President, Vice President, the UMC, which I believe is the Urban Municipalities Committee Director, and the Small Towns Director, and they're all open for nominations, and they must be nominated before the close of business at the MNL office, before the close of business on October 6, 2015. So there's no motions there, Your Worship. Council, that's just for your information as well as the public. Finally, we have invoices for approval. It's been a slow week. Director Silver, I guess, was off, and basically we've only written a few checks. It's $192,755.62, and as Chair of Corporate Services, I might add that that's a good thing. And noting out of that amount, the highest amount payment there is number 2, Marco Services. I guess we're still rolling.
You're telling me all we ever really need to do to balance the budget is fire the accountants.
I can't.
And you
Your
being
Worship,
one,
you know I can't.
I just wanted to hear you say it.
Well, we're already, doing some cost-effective service efficiency here today, and you can see Director Silver has become the clerk of the.
He has
for a week or 2, right?
He has.
It's a good thing, and I so move. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Contrary minded, the motion is carried. We're moving on to infrastructure and public works. Councillor Walsh.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I want to begin by welcoming Daryl Drover, happens to be in our gallery there.
Hi, Daryl.
He is our asset manager for the city, and of course is going to be doing the presentation. I don't think we have lots of assets. Well, just leave it at that.
Or just liabilities.
Mr. Drover is actually going to be doing a presentation this evening with Committee of the Whole on asset management, so we'll look forward to hearing more about the asset management system as we move forward.
I thought he lost a bet.
Yeah, no. He's here probably with a great interest, actually, and it's kind of timely because the very first item that we're bringing forward in terms of IPW is actually the appointment of their prime consultant, and we were really delighted with this process. Some of the details of the work that's outlined in Phase 1 and Phase 2 are outlined for Council's benefit below, but this really does involve not just the process, but actual work related to the outcomes and putting together a set of recommendations on how we should, as a city the size of Mount Pearl, handle our asset management and the development of an asset management system on our behalf. We did attract the attention of an international consulting group with a lot of experience in asset management. That was Opus, and they had an excellent submission, which was evaluated in accordance with our plan. The proposed cost is $325,649, which includes HST, and I'm recommending that we stop talking about this process of asset management and we actually start the work and assign Opus to be the prime consultant on this particular contract, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Walsh, seconded by Deputy Mayor Locke. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried.
See how quickly we can spend $325,000. It's amazing.
What we end up with at the end of the day is
hopefully we'll have
right?
something particularly valuable. There's no doubt about that, and I'm confident that we will. And we'll have something to provide for Mr. Drover and our engineering staff to work with, which is obviously very important as well. The second is another contract award, Your Worship, and this is for the large Summit Centre sign. This is an LED building sign. And we had only one compliant bidder, but it's from a proven company that has been Newfoundland-based for a long time, and that is E.C. Boone Limited. And the amount of that bid was $26,575.75, which includes HST. And I so move, would like to award that contract.
Moved, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Question or comment? When will the sign go up?
We're hoping to have that in place for the end of September, actually. I think that's the plan. The end of September should be there. Within a month.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Contrary minded, motion is carried. Let's have the new clerk recognize that Councillor Stoyles is not voting.
Is abstaining. So that's been passed, and thank you for that, Your Worship. The third is a request to accept additional funding and the change the terms of conditions of the 2012-2014 multi-year capital works program. And the reason for that, of course, is some time ago the provincial government approved additional funding for the new gymnastics facility, and we never did bring forward the additional $500,000 in the budget. That would bring the total provincial contribution for this facility to $1,169,026. It does require a change and, of course, a minute of council to have that rectified. So we're delighted to be able to enter into this project, and of course we've already identified the land, and work has begun already, in fact, on the start of the clearing and grubbing of that site on Old Placentia Road, and we're really happy, as are the people of Campia Gymnastics, and delighted to be able to move forward with that. So I'd ask for a motion of council to approve this, bringing the total contribution, as I said, to $1,169,026, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. Any question or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried.
Thank you. And our final item basically is the project updates. I'm not going to go through these, but I really do appreciate that IPW does provide completion ratings and some details, and the contractor who's actually doing the work on the various sites. And there's a lot of work being done. The only one contract that I want to note this time round is the multi-year stormwater remediation project. As you know, we've been trying to take some pumps that are dumping water into the sanitary sewer system off the sanitary sewer and having it reinstalled or redirected to our storm sewer, as it should be. And there are a number of practical and cost-efficient reasons for doing that. that project is about 90% complete. But as council is well aware, we've also asked through IPW to have our contractor talk to others and investigate other areas or places where similar things are happening, so that we can expand the project, and eventually the goal would be to have all sump pumps in the city eventually off the sanitary source, so that we're not paying for the costly treatment of that water, and we're not creating problems downstream for other residents of Mount Pearl. So that's the goal. We're about 90% complete on this project, but the intent is to expand it to help identify other residents and other areas where there might be problems. Is there anything else that you wanted to add? Oh, sorry, consultant, yeah. So picky with words. Consultant. Yeah, I should know that. Thank you, Your Worship. That's it for me.
Thank you very much. The one item I am going to point out to council, which I think is of interest to all of us, is the Municipal Avenue work, which is identified as install new concrete curb, gutter, sidewalk, new asphalt resurfacing for the roadway, remove and replace the storm sewer outfalls. That tender will close now on September 8th. Mr. Antle and I had a quick little tour of the area just yesterday to have a look at the extent of the work that we will be able to do in advance of any activity associated with the build that's going to happen at the end of Municipal Avenue. All of this is work that can be done before any of that happens. So rather than delay it, we're gonna pay it and do a bunch of that work now, and I think that's tremendous. I don't know how much we'll get started this fall, but hopefully some of it once the tender is closed, and we can award it.
We would call this phase one, and I would expect you would get substantially this work done.
A substantial amount of work done. Yeah, before the fall is out. So that's good news for the people in that area, I think. That concludes that committee report. Anybody else with a comment? If not, we're moving on. Planning and Development Committee, Councillor Ledwell.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our first item is an application from Lat 49 Architecture on behalf of Avalon Ford to construct a salt shed as a third building on their lot up at 621 Kenmount Road. The proposed shed is intended to store salt, of course, snow clearing and parking lot maintenance equipment. It's intended to be 6 meters in height and 600 square feet in gross floor area. Now, the applicant has indicated that the new building will not be connected to water and sewer services, and will also not require a connection for electrical services. The proposed building does meet the city's development standards. We are bringing it forward here this evening, however, because the current development agreement is put together for 2 buildings on the one lot, and of course now it has to be revised to be able to incorporate 3 buildings on one lot, and this does require the approval of council. And actually, the development agreement does have to be signed before any permits can be issued. So we've discussed this in planning and development, and we certainly are prepared to recommend that this application by Lat 49 Architecture to construct a third building on the lot be approved in accordance with the conditions in the kit, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Ledwell, seconded by Councillor Walsh. Question or comment? Has anybody looked at the picture? The visual, it's like the aerial shot. What a massive size Avalon Ford is. Look at the size of it. It is a huge operation, isn't it?
Big lot, no doubt about it.
It's got to be one of the biggest in the. What? Just when you look at it, you go, "Wow, what a great successful company."
Absolutely. It's a great big
anyway,
lot there.
that's just an observation. That's an aside. Anyone with a comment or question? If not, we'll call it. All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion carried.
Moving right along, Your Worship, and I draw your attention to the amended report for this particular item that is outside the kit. You'll notice that compensation is due to the property owner at 5 Forest Avenue. Some of his private property did become part of a public roadway, and of course was transferred to the city. Compensation for this transfer is due to the resident. The amount, the land that was transferred was appraised, and it came back with a value of $9,000. And so it is the recommendation of Planning and Development Committee that we accept this transfer for this land and that we award the resident $9,000 accordingly with the appraisal, and I so move.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Walsh. Question or comment? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried.
Our next item, Your Worship, is related to the possibility of future development in the Olympic Drive area. SNC Lavalin, of course, on behalf of the city, has conducted a field testing study to confirm that the what kind of water sewer servicing capacity is available in the area of Olympic Drive. Infrastructure and Public Works has reviewed the draft report that we've received from SNC Lavalin, and our illustrious Director of Public Works has confirmed that, or has advised that the theoretical model for infrastructure along Olympic Drive would accommodate future development without any major adverse effects. However, based on the findings of the study, it is recommended that confirmation of the model be studied and confirmed. So it is the recommendation that Council approve proceeding with this detailed study at an approximate cost of $5,000 to $10,000, and I so move.
Moved, seconded. Question or comment? All those in favor? Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried.
Moving right along, Your Worship, this next item is related to the property at 16 to 24 Glendale Avenue. Of course, you'll recall at our July 28th meeting, Council approved proceeding with some additional work as a result of some concerns that were raised at a briefing session on the application for an amendment to the municipal plan and development regulations related to a proposed condominium building at that site. One of the action items, of course, was to engage an independent professional who was going to undertake an elevation review and prepare drawings to determine the exact height of the building, the tree line, have a detailed look at the viewscapes, and confirm all of the information that we have heard up until now. Fougere Mentionton Architecture has been asked to provide an estimate on the cost of this work. The estimate has come back as follows. The estimation for prime consultant work, $16,380 plus HST. In addition, the estimated cost for land survey work by All North is going to be wrapped in with this project, $5,480.50, bringing the total estimated cost for the work to $21,860.50 plus HST. We've discussed it at planning, and certainly we do recommend that Fougere Mentionton Incorporated be engaged to conduct the work at the estimated cost as outlined above, and I so move.
It is moved and seconded. Question or comment? A question, Councillor, if I might. How long will it actually take to do this viewscape study, given that if there's no problems with this, the developers obviously want us to move through the process? How long?
I would say roughly a month, 2 months, but Director Yevchik, I'm sure, can 2 weeks. I'll refer
we're going to defer to Mr. Yevchik here. He's doing.
I like the month. Is probably a good idea. But we actually, in our discussions with the company, if they have the go ahead and weather permitting, because this is really great technology, but you have to have a nice day to do it. It can be done within, they say, about 2-3 weeks.
About 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. And I heard about the public hearing.
So with the go-ahead today, then they can start, is what you're saying?
They are prepared to start actually tomorrow if they get the go-ahead this evening, Your Worship. I heard some comment about the public hearing. We haven't got to that stage yet because we're still at the briefing session review stage. So we haven't advanced at this point.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Walsh?
I just wanted to add that the beauty of this is, of course, is that these people will provide that independent, detached view, something that's not being provided through the developer, and I think that's really, really important as well. We want to be able to assess the impact that the viewscapes would have on the overall project, and the only way to do that, to satisfy some of the questions, and some of them were very legitimate, of residents, was to ensure that we have, a detached, independent, third-party review, and that's what this is providing for us.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment? Hearing none, we will call the question then. All those in favor of moving forward with this viewscape study, say aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion is carried.
Your Worship, make no wonder I was never a success at the game of baseball because I couldn't read the director's signs over here.
No, you couldn't get that 2 weeks thing, hey?
Couldn't pick that up. As he continued, I'm not sure what he means by that either.
No, he's got us all stumped on that one.
Absolutely. In any case, I'll move right along. Our next item is a discretionary use application for a home-based business at 1 Tweedsmuir Place. It's an application for a home-based computer repair business. And the property is located, of course, in the residential medium density zone, and a home occupation, as we know, was listed as a discretionary use in the zone, and that's why we bring this forward here this evening. We have 2 residents of the home there that will be called, I guess, employees, as it says in the report, but they're going to be, of course, living and working there, and there are 4 to 6 parking spaces that are available on the site. It's proposed that the computer repair business be open just 5 days a week rather than 7, and be open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. There was a briefing session that was scheduled for earlier this month. However, we did receive 3 representations, but none indicated that they had a desire to attend a briefing session on the matter. However, there were some concerns regarding traffic and parking, potential impacts on snow clearing that were noted in the representations, despite the briefing session not going ahead. So we have conducted, or I should say staff have conducted a review, and since there is a corner lot here, there are 3 driveways on this particular property. As I mentioned, 4 to 6 parking spaces, so we feel there's ample parking, I guess, for this type of business. The applicant estimates he's only going to attract about 3 to 4 customers per week, so this is not a heavy traffic type of operation. Also, there is ample landscape front yard as well as side yards there to provide for snow storage. So the impact on snow clearing at this point, we would have to say, will not be overly adverse. Therefore, our committee certainly recommends that the application for this new computer repair business be approved, subject to the conditions in the kit, and I so move.
Moved and seconded by Councillor Walsh. Questions or comments from anybody? Councillor, one of the things, and I didn't see it in the report, home-based businesses in these homes are limited from the point of view of actual floor space that they're allowed to take up. And
certainly.
I look at a computer repair business. I appreciate that the issue surrounding the intrusiveness of it may not be as substantial as what the 2 people who wrote may fear. But I do look at the storage reality and taking units in and putting units out, etc., as well as having, quite frankly, a repair shop. I didn't see any indication that they were meeting requirements as it related to footprint inside the home. Is that taken care of?
My understanding, and the director can certainly confirm, but my understanding is that they do, in fact, meet those requirements. As says in the report, Your Worship, 3 to 4 customers per week is really all that's expected. So there's not going to be a lot of moving in and out. There's not going to be a lot of storage of computer equipment, I wouldn't expect, at the location itself. So therefore, I think they should be able to meet the requirements. But I don't know if Director Yepchik, you have anything to add to that? Well, that pretty well answers it, I guess.
So it does, from a square footage piece, it fits.
I will add something now.
Of what they're going to...
Just to confirm Councillor Ledwell's comment, yeah, there's a certain amount of square footage within the house that they're allowed to utilize. This is a one-room operation, meets the minimum requirement, and that includes the storage of the computer parts as well.
You know, the only part that made that made me raise an eyebrow, I suppose to say, as best I can, is we're getting into signage here. I view this to some degree. It has a retail component to it, not just the repair component of, hey, I have a problem with my computer. Fine, I'll come pick it up, bring it to my house and repair it. That's what I think they're doing. I get that. No problem. But once you start putting up a sign saying computer repair,
we're not recommending that they do that, Your Worship. I just want to clarify that. Under our regulations, any home-based business has the right to have signage attached as long as it conforms with a very small signage standard. That would be the same that would apply here. I happen to have a home-based business, consulting business, and have operated from my home there for probably 12 years. I've never chosen, as do most people who have home-based business, I've never chosen to put a sign out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any indication that they've necessarily chosen to put a sign up, but they have
indicated
the right,
in the report here.
they have
yes,
the right to do it, though, if
that
they
want to
want
put
it.
out a sign.
But
Oh, and I
it
got
would
no.
be very, it would
and
be
don't get
very
me wrong,
small.
I have no problem with it.
Yep.
It's just that there is a retail nature to it that, there's a caution bell to ring. The other thing in the report that I take some comfort from, obviously, is our ability to monitor this, that if it does get to be a problem, we have the right to pull it.
Let's make it clear, there's no selling people. The retail nature of this business is service-oriented only.
It's dropping off and picking up.
Dropping off computers, there'll be work in progress stored there, and then basically customers will return it.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, I'm comfortable. Anybody else with a question? If not, we'll call it. All those in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our next item is very much a good news item. Of course, we're all aware that we've had the Green Team through the Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador working with us this past summer, and they're, well, I shouldn't say this past summer, it's not over yet. However, they have been working with us this
Very
summer.
depressing. You mean the summer in which the year in which we didn't have a summer?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Last week was good.
Summer last week, yeah.
In any case, the Green Team, unfortunately now are in the past tense for this year. They did start on June 29th with their training camp, and they started then on July 6th with their endeavors for the summer. They wrapped up their tenure with us on August 21st, and they've done lots of great stuff. Of course, they've now created and helped us create 24 raised garden beds for our Community Gardens initiative. Of course, they've partnered and done a great deal of work with the Church of the Good Shepherd. There are 14 beds over there. There are 3 beds now at Hillcrest Estates through the Growing for Ages program. There was some funding that was accessed up at Hillcrest, and those 3 beds up there I think are going to be very well maintained. In addition, we have 7 community beds up at the Kenmount Park Community Centre that are now, I guess, open for planting, if you will, if any member of the public was interested in getting up there and planting something in these new community garden beds. They certainly would be welcome to consider that. They've also put together a 32-page community garden guide, as well as an anti-littering campaign. There's a 12-page activity booklet and a variety of different educational materials for our schools. Finally, they've cleaned up over 5 kilometers of trail, and they've conducted eight environmental awareness events. So they've done a lot of great work, and it's been successful enough that they've made the cover of the Pearl newspaper for 2 editions in a row, which is a rare accomplishment even for the illustrious council that we have here this evening.
Even for us, yeah.
They've done a lot of great work, and we want to congratulate them, thank them for their work over the summer, and certainly thank the Conservation Corps and all of the city staff for their roles that they played in this project. It's a good news story all around. Our next item.
Thank you.
Our next item, Your Worship, is our development permit list for the period of August 10th to the 21st of 2015. You'll see the 3, more than 3. You'll see the permits listed there. And of note, the clearing and grubbing on the site at 21 Opal Central Road, as Councillor Walsh referenced, that of course is related to the gymnastics facility that is currently under construction. So that's all great news. So I'd like to move those permits, please.
Moved, seconded, all in favor? Mr. Yevchek?
Your Worship, the other thing I'd like to point out, just for the information of Council, because I know there's an important project for him, was the 59 Park Avenue. That's the land adjacent to Park Place. That has now been issued a clearing grubbing permit, and that's for a multi-unit road dwelling development. And they've actually began work as of, I believe, yesterday.
That's good. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
So,
do I call?
Yeah, you go ahead and call the question.
All in favor? I thought I had called it. Contrary minded, motion carried.
Okay. Now, finally, Your Worship, we have our building permit totals for the same period, August 10th to the 21st, 2015. On the residential side, our total is $163,200, and I so move.
Moved, seconded, all in favor? Contrary minded, motion is carried.
And finally, on the commercial side of things, August 10th to the 21st, the total is $3,256,170. And as you'll see, the largest part of that is related to the gymnastics facility as well, and I so move.
Moved, seconded, all in favor? Contrary minded, motion carried. And that concludes planning. Thank you, Councillor. Transportation Public Safety Committee report, Councillor Tessier.
Just a brief report tonight. Positive Pathways has had a really
positive effect on our city. Last year, Courtney Langell, a young woman from Mount Pearl, was raised in Mount Pearl. She started leaving some positive messages with sidewalk chalk on some of our pathways. And it was such a neat idea that we took it and thought, what can we do with it? So our day camp counselors and our young campers this year have been participating in positive pathway initiatives, and I just want to give you an example of some of the messages that they leave. And sometimes it's like a big collage of messages from the young people, and I know that Courtney herself has gone by to visit when the kids are out. Messages like, be yourself, kindness counts, be nice to others, everyone is someone else's hero. I hope this message is as beautiful as you are. Never give up. So those are the kinds of messages that people are going to encounter when they go on our pathways in Mount Pearl. So we just we wanted to compliment the camp counselors. We want to thank the young campers who are participating in this initiative, and we're going to do it again next year because it's just gone over so incredibly well. And I think we should thank Courtney as well for the excellent inspiration.
That's beautiful.
Isn't
It's
it?
great. Saw some pictures of some of the messages in that, and it turned out that it was a great idea.
It's being really well received. Social media loves it.
So let's do more of it.
Absolutely.
That's great. Really good. That's it? That's your report? That's all there is. We're going to do new business. Deputy Mayor.
Speaking with lovely artwork, I just got some information here, Your Worship, on AMP. This year's Art Fusion. The festival is going to be the biggest yet. So 2015 Art Fusion will be from September 12th to the 19th. Celebrations begin with a day-long celebration on Saturday, September the 12th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is taking place at the Kenmount Park Community Centre. They continue all throughout the week, the celebrations with workshops, activities, and events. And the festival this year has a mix of new performers, crowd favorites, singer-songwriter Chris LeDrew and storyteller Catherine Wright will be in attendance this year. Just encourage folks to check out a number of great free events. There will be a youth writing workshop with Scott Bartlett. That's on Monday, the 14th. Get Messy, Play-Doh and Finger Painting for preschoolers on the 15th. Storytelling Cafe with Kevin Noseworthy. Youth Open Mic and Art Show on Friday, September the 18th at our Reed Community Centre Youth Room. Crafternoon on the 19th at Admiralty House Museum. So there's a whole host of activities here. And there will be a murder mystery again, Art to Die For, on Saturday, September the 19th. So again, we encourage residents of Mount Pearl to check out. They can go to info@amp.ca, and we encourage all residents and visitors to the city to come out and participate in a variety of these activities. I also want to send out kudos to city staff and volunteers who took part with the musical ride over the weekend. My understanding is they had probably 1,500 at each event. I think
Yep.
you attended both of them, Your
Both,
Worship.
yep.
So over 3,000, and I do know that our city staff did help out with the setup and maintenance, and we did get an email from a retired RCMP officer, and he sent congratulations to our MEOs for the fine job he did on crowd control and moving the traffic out.
They did an
both days.
excellent job.
So I just wanted to say that publicly. So hats off to all involved, and it was a great event based on the response we saw on social media and speaking with people in person. I mean, the kids loved it, the adults loved it, people of all ages loved the musical ride. So I just wanted to mention that. That's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Stoyles.
Just have one item and want to pass along my sympathy to Keith Peddle. And Keith passed away this past week. He was a taxi driver at Valley Cabs and lived around Pearl for a number of years, and I just want to pass on my sympathy to his family.
Thank you very much. Councillor Walsh.
I'll pass. Thank you very much, Your Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Tessier.
A couple of quick things. Last week I had the honor of attending the West End Fire Station grand opening on Black Marsh Road.
You did.
Yes, it was a beautiful event.
They got quite the little shack out there, hey, for the fire hall.
It's beautiful, but I mean, it's needed. It's required. I mean, for what they do, these are first responders. They need to have the most sophisticated technology that they can have to serve the residents that they protect, and they have a beautiful facility. It was a long time coming, so I want to congratulate them. Chief Jerry Peach was there, of course, and he's a lovely man, and everybody, there was a lot of people there from St. John's, Mount Pearl. Mayor Bobbitt was there from Paradise as well, because they're coming on board next year as well. So anyway, it was just...
They're already on board.
Well, they're on board, but they're getting a new fire hall. Yes.
The next one that we'll have to go to will be the opening of the new one
That's
in
right, in
Paradise.
Paradise.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was a beautiful event, and it was just a pleasure to be there. And it was really, it had a lot of dignity. The event did. Yeah, it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I also wanted to commend and congratulate our city staff who participated in the Dragon Boat Festival a week and a half ago.
They did a good job.
They did a
Raised
great
lot of
job.
money.
They raised $1,511 through, I think, their efforts with a barbecue. They also came in second in a very challenging municipal race because they took on the defending champions last year. And so the Paradise team certainly have a lot of practice. And they got a couple of ringers, I think, on their team. But I tell you, Mount Pearl came in second and were no slouches at all. It was an exciting race. But most importantly, I want to commend them for their efforts in organizing a team. They looked really great, and they raised a lot of money to support this cause and made us very proud.
Indeed. Thank you very much. Councillor Aker.
No, sir. Thank you.
Nothing. Councillor Ledwell.
Be very brief, Your Worship. Just want to congratulate our city staff as well as our sponsor for the event, First Street Dental, for a fantastic movie in the park on August 13th. I think the crowd might have been a little smaller than in past years, but I think that night it was threatening some rain. But it's a great event that we have. A lot of families enjoy it, and I certainly just want to pass on
I think the
our
movie
thanks
was
for
Frozen,
that.
wasn't it?
No.
It should have been.
Maybe should have been.
Maybe it should have been,
Yeah,
yeah.
Big Hero 6 was the movie, if I
Big
recall.
Hero 6 this time, yeah.
This time around, but I want to pass on a word of thanks to the volunteers, sponsors, and staff for putting that together. As well, it was my honor this past Sunday to attend the opening of the 64th Biennial Conference of the Royal Canadian Legion, Newfoundland Labrador Command, and I got the chance to lay a wreath at a little memorial service that they held on behalf of the city of Mount Pearl. Certainly want to wish them well in their conference this week. We know, of course, the Royal Canadian Legion is a very important part of our community, of our country. All of the service that they provide to veterans and to the community is certainly very much appreciated, especially our own Legion here in Mount Pearl. Thank you to them for their involvement, and it was a real treat on Sunday to be a part of that.
That's it. Thank you very much. Well, I have nothing to add to any of that other than to say I managed to attend both of the musical rides on Saturday and Sunday. Councillor Aker actually attended with me, and his wife saw both because he was there twice, by the way, because his wife drove it the second time. She wanted to see it again, and my wife came with me Sunday because I made her come to see the musical ride. It was a fabulous event. The organizers couldn't have asked for a better outcome. They sold like 900 tickets additional at the gates over those couple of days. It was absolutely fabulous, and it ran smooth as silk. I understand even the rugby teams aren't that unhappy with the condition of the field when it was over. So it went really, really well. We will entertain on that note a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Ledwell. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.